Hey guys, NSC85 back with another video. This will be the last video in the series. Since there's a lot of components that kind of get installed at the same time, I'll be installing the rear takedown pin. I'll be installing the buffer retainer, the end plate, the castle nut, and the receiver extension. The tools that you're going to need, and again, I've been doing this a long time, and I've been fortunate enough to gather certain tools, right? Tools are kind of expensive, but this is the best castle nut wrench I have yet to find, and again, it's made by Forward Controls. They're kind of just on top of things, so this is what I will be using. It's the best I've found, and I've tried them all. So I'll be using this. We'll be using Aeroshell 33 MS grease, and we will also be using a big torque wrench because, just as it says on here, torque 38 to 42 foot-pounds, and that's for the castle nut. So I'm going to go ahead and get the lower in a vise block, and we'll go from there. Alright, so what I like to do first is I have the receiver extension here, and I just like to get everything kind of set up on the receiver extension, unless you have a kit and it's already put together. But I'll go ahead and screw the castle nut on and then get the end plate on. So this is now ready to be spun into place. I'll then take the takedown pin, and on this side I'm just going to put the pin in place, and it goes in like this with the channel facing the rear. And then we will take the detent, place it right in there, and the spring. And I usually push the spring in and then take it back out, only because I don't want to bend the spring as I'm screwing things in, but that'll also help keep the pivot pin in place because the detent kind of pushes forward into the channel. Now I will take the Aeroshell and smear it inside these threads. You don't need a ton, but you want to make sure that the threads have a coating on them. Then I will also place it on here, like so. Very important, remember that you want the small notches facing the end plate, the large notches facing to the rear. Go ahead and start spinning this into place. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So you notice as you screw it in, you got this hole right here. We're going to place the retainer in there so the spring drops into place like so. The retainer goes right over that. So then we'll be pushing this down and screwing this just until it captures that. You can see how many turns you can get. Usually it's just the one. Yep, because then you end up bottoming out. So you want to go just until you have it captured and your receiver extension is straight. Alright, now I have this set up vertically. Our end plate, I'm just going to slide up. Move slightly to drop the spring in place, and I just use my fingernail to get captured right under there, and then slide this down and then spin the castle nut in place. Now what I'm going to do is torque the castle nut on. And to do so, I'm going to end up switching vise blocks. Alright, so what I have here is the Geissele reaction block. And this is specific for mil-spec receiver extensions. We're just going to fit this right in here. And what this does is when I go ahead and tighten this castle nut to 40 foot-pounds, it's going to keep everything really tight in place. Now, there is a slight possibility that when you torque on this, you're going to want to hold on to the pistol grip because it may want to twist a little, but I've never had an issue. I'm using the Forward Controls castle nut wrench, and I have my torque wrench set at 40 foot-pounds. After I get my wrench in place for when I'm going to tighten this, I like to push it up against this as far as I can go, and that just makes sure that I'm not going to end up canting it. This is something I've kind of picked up on after doing a lot of these. And this wrench is short enough that it's really not going to have an effect as far as offsetting it. It's still going to be within spec. So there is 40 foot-pounds. Everything is straight. And our castle nut is properly torqued into place. Now the only thing to do now is to properly stake this end plate in at least 2 places. And I will have a specific video for that because I'm going to use the Derrick Fight Master method for staking, which allows for really super good, perfect stakes. So I will have a separate video on staking the castle nut using the Fight Master method. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.